By this point, you have probably watched enough leak roundups and spec breakdowns to know roughly what the Garmin Fenix 9 Pro is bringing to the table, but knowing the specs and knowing which specific model to actually put your money toward are two completely different problems. Garmin is rumored to be splitting this generation into 3 separate tiers, 3 different case sizes, and 2 different display philosophies, which means there could be well over a dozen individual configurations to choose from once this thing actually ships. So instead of another feature rundown, this video is a straightforward buying guide built around one simple question for every section. Which version is actually right for you, based on how you really use a watch, not based on which spec sheet looks the most impressive on paper. Let's start with a quick recap of the 3 lineup tiers, because everything else in this guide builds on understanding these clearly. At the base sits the standard Fenix 9, expected to use more conventional materials like stainless steel and reinforced glass rather than titanium and sapphire, keeping the price closer to the current Fenix baseline while still delivering solid multi-sport tracking, GPS navigation, and Garmin's core health monitoring suite. Above that sits the Fenix 9 Pro, the tier most of the headline leaks have been focused on, expected to bring the titanium and sapphire construction. The choice between a brighter AMOLED-style display or a highly efficient solar charging display, the upgraded Elevate heart rate sensor, muscle oxygen tracking, and the rumored on-device AI coaching system. At the very top sits the flagship Fenix 9 Pro satellite variant, which takes everything from the standard Pro tier and adds built-in satellite messaging, live tracking, and emergency SOS capability that works completely independent of a paired phone. Think of these 3 tiers less as good, better, best in a vague marketing sense, and more as 3 genuinely different tools built for 3 genuinely different relationships with the outdoors, ranging from casual recreational use all the way up to serious off-grid expedition planning. Now the size options, because this is a decision that affects daily comfort just as much as it affects features. Leaks point to 3 case sizes across the lineup. A new 43mm option aimed specifically at smaller wrists, the familiar 47mm size that most current Fenix owners already wear and that represents Garmin's most balanced, do-everything size, and a larger 51mm case for anyone who wants maximum battery capacity and the biggest possible display real estate for reading maps at a glance. Here is the important nuance worth understanding before you default to whichever size looks the biggest or most rugged in marketing photos. Bigger is not automatically better for everyone. A 51mm case on a smaller wrist can genuinely hang awkwardly and catch on jacket sleeves during activity, while a 43mm case on someone who wants to read detailed topographic maps at a glance mid-stride might feel cramped. If you have any opportunity to try one on physically before buying, whether at a Garmin retail partner or a friend's watch, take it, because case size is one of those decisions that is genuinely difficult to judge correctly from photos alone. So who is the base Fenix 9 model actually built for? This is the right choice for someone who wants genuine Garmin reliability and core outdoor tracking capability without paying for features they are unlikely to use regularly. Think weekend hikers who mostly stick to well-marked, well-traveled trails, casual trail runners who train 2 or 3 times a week and want accurate pace and heart rate data without needing lab-grade physiological metrics, and anyone upgrading from an older fitness tracker or a much older Garmin model who wants a meaningful step up without jumping straight to flagship pricing. The base model should still deliver GPS tracking, multi-sport activity profiles, solid battery life, and Garmin's core training and recovery features. It simply skips the premium materials, the most advanced sensor suite, and the satellite hardware that drive the price up on the higher tiers. If your idea of a rough day outdoors is losing cell signal for 20 minutes on a familiar loop trail rather than genuinely being stranded somewhere remote, the base model very likely covers everything you actually need. The Fenix 9 Pro tier is where things get more interesting, and it is genuinely the tier most people considering this generation are probably going to end up looking at most closely. This is the right choice for serious recreational athletes and semi-competitive trail runners, cyclists, and hikers who train with real structure and actually use the data their watch collects to make training decisions, rather than just glancing at a number and moving on. If you care about accurate heart rate readings during genuinely intense efforts, want access to muscle oxygen tracking to understand training load and fatigue more precisely, and would benefit from on-device AI coaching translating your recovery data into actual guidance about when to push and when to rest, the Pro tier is built specifically around that use case. It is also the right pick for anyone who wants the durability upgrade of titanium and sapphire glass simply because they are hard on gear, whether that is from frequent rock scrambling, mountain biking crashes, or just wanting equipment that will genuinely last a decade of regular abuse. Within the Pro tier itself, you will also need to choose between the brighter AMOLED-style display, which suits people who prioritize visual clarity and vibrant data screens and are comfortable charging more frequently, versus the solar-assisted efficient display, which suits people who prioritize going as long as possible between charges above almost everything else, particularly if you regularly go on multi-day trips where charging access simply is not guaranteed. The flagship satellite-connected Fenix 9 Pro variant is the narrowest tier in the lineup, and it is genuinely not meant for most people, which is worth saying plainly rather than trying to talk everyone into the top-of-the-line option.